Welcome to our short video about indirect and direct speech. Let's start with the basics. When do we use indirect and direct speech? When people talk to each other, they normally use direct speech. But if you want to report what another person has said, you use indirect speech.
Backshift of tenses. Direct speech. We are all working hard to make our dreams come true. Indirect speech. He said that they were all working hard to make their dreams come true. Direct speech. This is a memorable moment in sports history. Indirect speech. She said that it was a memorable moment in sports history. Direct speech. Everybody has been doing their very best in the past few weeks. Indirect speech. He added that everybody had been doing their very best in the past few weeks. Direct speech. I was chosen to represent the party. Indirect speech. He exclaimed that he had been chosen to represent the party. Direct speech. It's amazing what the party has achieved in such a short time. Indirect speech. He exclaimed that it was amazing what the party had achieved in such a short time. Direct speech. I'm sure that we will win the game. Indirect speech. He said that he was sure that they would win the game.
If there's a question word in direct speech, for example when, it is used again in indirect speech. For example, when did you decide to become the party's candidate, Mr. Grimsby? In indirect speech it is, the reporter wanted to know when Mr. Grimsby had decided to become the party's candidate. If there's no question word in direct speech, use if or whether to introduce the clause in indirect speech. For example, will the financial situation allow you to keep all your promises? In indirect speech it is, she asked Mr. Grimsby if or whether the financial situation would allow him to keep all his promises. In modern English, whether sounds slightly more formal than if.
Our next and last point is indirect commands. You can use tell, advise, ask, and want to introduce indirect commands. These introductory verbs are followed by a direct object, everyone or them, and an infinitive with to. For example, so my friends, elect the right person for the job. In indirect speech it is, Mr. Grimsby told everyone to elect the right person for the job. Direct speech. And don't believe any of the rumors spread by my political opponents. And he warned them not to believe any of the rumors spread by his political opponents.